Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope all of you are doing well today. So today I want to kind of talk about Foxface a little bit. This video might be a little bit rambly, but I don't think it'll be too long. These are 5 questions that I still have about Foxface, 5 questions we still haven't had answered. Now, in the Twilight series, there was a lot of questions that people had, but they got answered because the author published a book called The Illustrated Guide, and it had extremely detailed backstories about every character, even the side characters. There was all this extra information that didn't make it into the books or the movies, and here it was formatted into like a big guidebook. And it was a great book. It was a huge book. But for something like that to be published for the Hunger Games, I could almost not fathom it. So we haven't really gotten anything like that. Even with Harry Potter, the author has released information, bits and pieces to tell us about their world. Even if it's just tweets, randomly tweeted, at 3 a.m. from her bedroom, she still gave us a little bit more insight into the world. But with the Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins, she really hasn't done that for us. There are companion books to the movies like the Tribute Guide, but the information in the guide is almost all able to be found in the books. And some of the information that's in the guides, like the ages and heights and weights of the tributes, doesn't really make sense, and it doesn't even follow the book or even the movies. I think it's like it all contradicts itself. It's like none of it is exactly able to really be paid attention to that closely. And so after all this time, I still have a lot of questions about a lot of different characters. But here are 5 things I always wondered about Foxface from the movie, and I wrote these down. So one of them was, what is her name? She doesn't have a name. In the books and in the movie, she's called Foxface. Her name isn't given. And I think the Portuguese version of the movie, her name is called Finch. Don't quote me on which version of the movie, but in one of the alternate language versions of the movie, when you watch it with English subtitles, it says that her name is Finch. And it may even say that in more than one version of the movie. Finch. And I think in the filming of the live action, Jacqueline Emerson, the girl who plays Foxface, I think she said that in the movie, her name, when she was talking with Caesar Flickerman, her name was Marissa, which I'm pretty sure she said that. But either way, her name has not been confirmed in English in any way, shape, or form. Whether her name is Marissa or Finch, we don't know. I lean more towards calling her Finch because it was a strange choice to give her a name in subtitles. Like during the interview scene when he's interviewing her, she stands up, he holds her hand, she says bye, they say bye to each other, she walks off. But and we see that happen in the movie, but you hear them talking, but it's kind of muffled, you don't really hear what they say. But if you watch it in an alternate language, it has subtitles for what they're saying, and he calls her Finch. And so I guess that's the closest we're going to get to knowing what her name is. She's one of the, I guess she's a side character, but she's kind of one of the only real characters who we get to really be introduced to in Katniss's games. And it'd be really, really cool to get to know what her name is after all this time. And I'm hoping that between A Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds and now Sunrise on the Reaping, or this like resurgence of interest in the Hunger Games, maybe the author will be so kind to grace us with some new and canon information about the original series. So yeah, I'm still wondering what Foxface's name is, or if her name really is Finch. Now, the next question I had wondered was about her experience during the Hunger Games and where did she hide? People have suggested maybe she hid in a cave, maybe she hid under brush or in bushes. I don't think she hid in a tree, personally. When people say they think that she hid in a cave or something like that, honestly, there's no way of guessing because we have no information to go off of. The only thing I will assume is that she hid very close to the cornucopia, wherever she was hiding, because she had to see them dig up the pedestal mines, she had to see them bury them, and she She had to be close enough to be able to observe their pattern for how they were buried and how to get to the supply pyramid. Now, I guess it's possible she was just sneaking around and doing some like reconnaissance to see what they were doing, but I just feel like she's more like, because she was so like afraid during the games and she was so sneaky, I feel like it was more likely that maybe she was just hiding somewhere. So I feel like she was probably close to the cornucopia, but there's no way of really knowing that. But I would love to know. That's another piece of information that I really hope we get some clarity about one day. The next thing was, why did Foxface laugh when the career's supplies were blown up by Katniss? Now, Foxface is absent from this scene in the movie. We see Foxface before Katniss blows up the supplies. We don't see Foxface again until after the supplies are blown up, but only in the book. In the book, after Katniss blows up the supply pyramid, Katniss is disoriented, and her ear is ringing and she's bleeding out of her ear. She doesn't know what's going on. And in the rubble, she sees Foxface standing there laughing until she hears a sound, and then Foxface darts off into the woods. And I want to know, why was she laughing? Was she laughing because she can't believe that? Was she just like in disbelief that her source of food was blown up? Was she laughing to be spiteful against the careers because like that's what they get, that's what they deserve, kind of thing? Or was she laughing because she was joyful because now with the career supplies now being destroyed, that now she kind of stood more of a chance to perhaps survive these games, and that made her a little happy? Like, we don't know. She's one of those characters we don't know that much about because we hardly see her. The next thing, and the next question I always wondered was, what was in her bag during the feast at the cornucopia? Now, we know what was in Cato's bag, which was the like bodysuit that is like protects him from like arrows. Like it was like armor, like a skin tight like armor. And we know what was in Katniss's bag, which was medicine for Peeta because he had that horrible fever from his infection in his leg wound. But we don't know what was in Thresh's bag. We don't know what was in Foxface's bag. People speculated maybe it was food because the career supplies were already destroyed. People have speculated maybe it was blankets or something to keep her warm because the arena was really cold at night and she didn't seem to have any supplies when she escaped from the cornucopia. Now, any guess could be accurate because this is one of those things we have zero to go off of. The most likely thing I could say is food. That was the only thing we saw her struggle with, because when she died at the end of the games, she was emaciated. She was skin and bones. She had starved nearly to death. So maybe she was desperately needing food, because if she doesn't know how to hunt, she has no access to food, and she's hiding the whole time, she would be starving. And Katniss blowing up her only food source, which was the food that belonged to the careers, she now had nothing left for herself. So my guess is that food was in the bag of Foxface during the feast scene. That's my personal theory, that's my thoughts. It seems logical, but I've heard other people speculate different things, like something to keep her warm or something like that, but which I guess is valid. I mean, they're all possibilities for sure, but it's something I always wondered about. And the last question that everybody has is a hot topic is, did she knowingly eat poisonous berries? Now, we don't know. I don't remember if Suzanne Collins confirmed it or not. I don't remember, but I know personally, I don't think she ate them with the intent of passing herself away. I think that my theory is that she was starving to death and she was like desperate and probably out of her mind, and she saw a bunch of berries that were being gathered, and so she went to eat them to just save herself from starving to death, and she unwittingly ended her own life. That's my theory. Because when people are dying of dehydration or starvation, it causes a lot of problems in the body, a lot of bodily functions start to shut down, and the mind can become delusional, or sometimes people can hallucinate. Like, a lot of things can go wrong in the mind. I don't think she would be thinking clearly, for sure. And so I think it's my theory that she ate the berries not in the right frame of mind, but just with the sole purpose of keeping herself from starving to death, and she accidentally ended her own life. That's what I think. I think it was an accident. I don't think she did it on purpose. People have speculated that she, she must have known what she was doing, because during the scenes in the training room, she was matching up all of the plants really fast, like matching like the plants or whatever, but we don't know what that really taught her. Maybe to recognize patterns of plants, but we don't know if it told her which ones were poisonous or not. We can assume so. I mean, clearly she was smart, but if a piece of information wasn't readily made available to her, we can't really say what she did or didn't know. Now, other people say that she ate the berries because she didn't want to die at the hands of a career or another tribute. Some people say she ate the berries because she just gave up. I think this is totally reaching. I don't see her giving up at any point, because she tried really hard. She risked being blown up by the mines just to steal a little bit of food. She risked her life by coming out of the cornucopia during the feast, knowing full well that all the other dangerous tributes were so close by. And she was still sneaking behind Candace and Peta even at the end of the games, towards the end of the games. And so, no, I think she was trying really hard to survive throughout the whole games. I don't think she was trying to not be alive anymore. Because if that was the case, I don't think she would have been trying so hard to keep quiet. I think it was an accident for sure. And although it hasn't been confirmed as far as I know, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident it was totally an accident, and that Foxface wasn't trying to take herself out of the games early. So these are just 5 things I wondered about relating to Foxface. I know some of you won't agree with some of my thoughts. That's okay. And on one of my last videos I posted, which was ranking the tributes of the 75th Hunger Games, the one with all the victors, somebody commented on that saying, "You suck at ranking, never let bro rank again, delete your whole channel," never, stuff like that, because they disagree with my ranking. So in honor of that, I will be doing probably 5 more ranking videos in the near future. Not all of them will be Hunger Games related, but I will be ranking the tributes from the 10th Hunger Games. I will be ranking, I'll also be doing a Twilight related video relating to their different vampire abilities, and I will be ranking something else. I think the tribute pairings for the 74th Hunger Games. But for now, I'll leave you with that. So I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And please, 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 if you enjoyed this video, absolutely subscribe. I'm trying really hard to hit 1,000 subscribers. It would help me out tremendously. It's free. You'll be happy you subscribed, and have a lot more content planned out as always. And sometimes I even let people vote on upcoming content depending on what it is. And speaking of that, the last video people voted for was the video about Kato and Kato's life story, the story of Kato. So I'm almost done with that. So expect that within the week. I've done a lot of research about him, and I'm on the tail end of that. So soon. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.